Citizion's History Series. Part 5. In June 1958, Rob makes the decision that Citizion would begin the move of the HQ to a larger site. However, this also meant he made a difficult decision that the barn will be eventually put up for sale. This decision was particularly hard on Jeff, who'd had this barn in his family for generations. Despite his best efforts to convince Rob to keep the barn, Rob mentioned that once the new site has been located, the barn would no longer be useful for Citizion. It would be up to Nate to find the new HQ site, which was not easy at first. For one, he could not find anything in Vita and so had to travel further out to expand the search. 2 months of searching in Raycanta, Perdita, Costa Gulala, Calades, no luck. Eventually he brought his search in and around Terso and struck gold. He found an industrial building site just outside the city with a small car park. It also had big opportunities for expansion in the far future, which means it could be used longer term. In June 1958, the property was officially bought by Citizion, but it would take until December until the team officially moved to the new site. In 1959, Jord releases the FB414 into Hetvesia. While the base trim looks like an ordinary sedan, underneath it was anything but ordinary, especially in safety technological advancements. In fact, the FB414 was so advanced for its time it had a massive impact on the automotive industry. It made headlines in newspapers across the world, some of which eventually made their way across Terso. In March 1959, Tim happened to be walking down the familiar streets and came across a newsstand next to a shop. For the first few milliseconds nothing caught his eye, but then he saw a familiar badge. That's Njord. He picked up the paper and had a closer look. The title says Njord to shake the industry with seatbelts. The first line of the paragraph says Njord's FB414 experiencing price spikes due to its own success. As Tim continued reading, he got an even more of a surprise of the statics of the FB414, which had 31 safety and the 81 horsepower out of a 1.8L engine. At around 5 o'clock when Tim finished shopping, he drove his own personal blue C100 back to HQ where he showed the news to the team. In August 1959, Rob takes a stroll around Terso, including the university where he once was a student. A lot has changed since he was here 14 years ago. There is a lot more university-managed halls. There was also a whole automotive facility, with a test track and a wind tunnel. In that moment, Rob had a brainwave. Citizion could take advantage of the wind tunnel to improve their next-generation cars. He has seen from many newspapers that there is a big push in Fruinia for more aerodynamic designs. Rob formed strong relations with the lecturers during his time as a student, and it was great that the head of automotive engineering was still there. The very next day, Rob turned up for an arranged meeting with the head and discussed the potential for Citizion to work with Terso University. At the end of the meeting, a deal was signed. Citizion would give a $3 million deposit for aerodynamic research for the university and then a $120K monthly fee. In exchange, the wind tunnel would be accessible for any vehicle under the Citizion brand. In 1960, Fruinia officially opens their borders with Archena. They have also allowed car companies the opportunity to import vehicles over. Over at Citizion, Rob decides that in order to take full advantage of this opportunity, he would arrange with Pete to drive the CX100 and C100 as a convoy over to Archena to find trading partners. 3 months later, Rob and Pete begin the long journey into Archena. The climate is very modest compared with Fruinia, with hot summers and cold winters, and there was very little rain during the journey, so the land was bone dry. When they eventually made it to the dealership, they were rather displeased.
This place looks like a sweatshop.
When they went into the building, they were met by a dirty-clothed and serious-looking chapter. It says Kazima on his name tag.
What do you want?
Hello, sir. We are here to offer business proposition.
If it's about Dauluh Royal, I am not interested.
Kazima is showing his hatred for Daluha because they got rich from oil originating from Archena.
We are here to offer 2 cars for you to sell to Archena.
Let me see.
Kazima comes out from his desk and makes his way over to see the cars outside. When they come within sight, his facial expressions suddenly lit up.
What the fuck? You will not find anything this glamours over in this lens.
Would you like to discuss pricing?
First, pop the capot.
Pete walks over to the CX100 and pops the bonnet.
A4 pot. This is serious luxury. Right, let's discuss pricing. What do you want to sell your cars for?
18K for CX112K for C100.
Окей, the C100 would be preferable to sell into family premium. But the CX100 is too expensive.
Okay, we might be able to drop the price by 1K.
Alright. I discuss this with my manager.
Kazima walks back into the building, leaving Rob and Pete waiting on a decision which could make or break the deal. An agonizing 20 minutes later and Kazima walks back out of the barn and towards the two nervous faces.
Right, the manager has said, we have a deal.
Rob and Pete were relieved that the import deal was a success, and it would be a warm, glamorous trip back home. In January 1962, the team had a meeting to discuss Citizion's third car platform.
Right, chaps, what should our third car platform be?
It should be something which we can build multiple trims out of.
GT, Super and Hyper.
We do not need more sporty cars, Nate.
Plus, we are way behind on tire and engine technology, so they would be rather poor quality.
Convertibles.
Perhaps premium and luxury convertible, but bear in mind they are big in Deluha, not Fruinia or Archana.
That's okay. Pete, we will just have to go for another business trip.
Rob, you love to make decisions just like that.
Yes, sir. Someone needs to get the wheels turning.
So, it would make sense for us to develop convertibles as a separate platform because they take a long time to engineer. However, as they are upmarket, we would also need to develop a bigger engine.
We have more enough profit to develop a new engine as well as the car.
So, what engine should we develop, Tim?
A V8 is most suitable if you want the trims to cover convertible premium and luxury.
All right.
Another thing to consider is the engine will also take a very long time to engineer, so we will need to prototype it beforehand.
We can do that alongside the car then.
Yes, indeed.
All right. That wraps up this meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.